LTN Hour. Let's talk NASCAR with your host, Todd Bailing, co-hosts Brian Schmidt, PJ Noodleman, and producer Dangerous Dan Margetta. Call the show anytime at 414-421-7901. And now, the creator and host of the fastest hour in radio, Todd Bailing.
The great off-season is going right along, isn't it? We've got not just 2 weeks to the Clash. The Rolex 24 actually gets underway this weekend. Good God. Hello there, everyone. Welcome to LTN. Todd Bailing in beautiful, warm Phoenix, Arizona, joined by my three frigid partners back in the great state of Wisconsin, starting with Brian Schmidt over in Oostburg, Wisconsin. Hi, Brian.
Morning. Yeah, it sucks here. I'll just leave it at that. But we only got, Dan, 4 weeks, and then we're going to be in the warm too, so something like that.
That Dan he referenced was Dan Margetta over in South Milwaukee-ish.
Yeah, it can't come soon enough. It's like, 5 degrees here and minus 12.
Really?
Chill, and it's going to get worse tonight, so Daytona can't come fast enough for me.
I second that.
PJ Noodleman over on the left coast of the state in Trempealeau, Wisconsin. Hi, PJ.
Hi there. I'm actually in Glenwood City today where it is 4 degrees, but with the wind chill 3 below.
You know, I kind of know my Wisconsin cities, and I don't know where the hell that is.
That is just kind of north of Menominee. Menominee. Dun, 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 dun. Menominee is over by Eau Claire.
Okay.
Oops.
There we go. Eau Claire.
Sorry about the dogs.
No, I've heard it. That's all right. That's fine. This is a real program with real people and real dogs in the back. Well, it's not like cats eating Brian's cords while he's on the air. That's happened true. Before. Yeah. The big news out of NASCAR this week is they finally got their head out of their ass and came off with a new chase. That's right. We dropped the word playoffs. It's lay off the playoffs. It's the return of the chase. There's no more win and end. It officially marks the end of the Brian France legacy. Cup Series will have 16 cars in the chase. The O'Reilly Series will have 12. The trucks will have 10. Basically what happens is they get reseeded with 10 races to go. There's a 100-point difference from first to 16th. 2,100 points will be to the point leader at that time, and 2,000 points all the way back in 16ths. They do keep the stage racing, which I don't know. I guess it's good. I'm not a fan necessarily, but, on the other hand, it adds something, and it certainly adds a commercial break for our friends that are spending a lot of money on races that are still trying to recoup their viewership from what it was at its peak several years ago. So
it's a pee break. It's a pee break.
It is. And, I can tell you that knowing it's really good when you're in the stands and you know what lap it's coming at, and you look down and you look around and you look over at the bathroom and there's no line right now. With about 10 laps to go before the break, you get up and you leave and you're one of the first in line. It's great. So that's exactly what it is as a pee break, and that's what it has been.
I was kind of
surprised. Mark Martin has been instrumental.
That's what I was going to say. I was surprised at how much pull he had in this. I mean, it sounds like they were really looking at going to more of an elimination style thing, and he kind of came in and said, no, we had to get away from that, and that's not what the fans want, and they actually listened to him. So I think that's a good start.
I think it's interesting to know the humility that he had with it, though. That article by Toby Christie where Mark Martin was like 50% embarrassed and 50% worried that he had tarnished his legacy in the sport for speaking out. And I think that it's pretty cool that it all worked out just fine.
I'm impressed that they were able to get NBC to agree to this. I mean, I really am, because I thought for sure, as we talked last week, that NBC wanted that last race drama of not knowing who the winner was going to be. And, with this format now, I mean, we saw Jimmy Johnson do it 6 times in that old format. And Dan, you were at most of them. A lot of times he didn't have to finish better than 10th or 20th.
Yeah, but that was with a different car too.
Right.
And, yeah, and it didn't have stage points in the thing. This is
Correct.
It's the first time we're doing this with stage points, where you can actually make up more points in the race by leading certain segments of it. That might keep it from somebody actually pulling away, and making a mockery of it. So I guess it's a good compromise. I see kind of where they went. 16 cars, I think, is a lot much for me. I would have rather had like 10. Six. I get what they want to do, though. Everybody wants to have a playoff or a chase driver. They want to take that into their sponsors so they can be a part of that group. I just don't think the guy in 16th place is going to actually be your champion. I don't think it's possible.
However, the only counter I'll have to that is a lot of people are bringing up, SVG. That might be the SGV factor. Yeah. So the fact that you're going with 16 cars, there's already been people that have crunched the numbers from last year. SVG would have made that with his wins on all those road course races.
Probably like 2 points.
If you go away from that, you're gonna not have that opportunity for those guys. So, and if that's all it's gonna take to keep having, SVG, he's good for the sport, I think. I mean, it's cool to see what he does on the road courses, and to have 16 there to keep that open so that all these teams still have a shot to say they're a chase driver, I think is a good thing. If you would have had a 10, I think there you'd be limited to the handful of the Hendricks and the Gibbs and the Penske cars, and that would have been about it.
I agree with that wholeheartedly, Brian. Same.
We're kind of glossing over the fact that the chase format has been revamped, and there's some other things you can look it up. There's other things that are being massaged with the whole points deal too. They do have the point for the fastest lap, which will return this year. There's a rule change that updates the controlled tire penalty. There's a new qualifying metric out there. There's waivers granted, what the new rules are for that, for guys that get hurt and all that sort of thing. There's a new OEM provisional for the first 3 races, which is for Ram in the Truck Series, because they don't have any points that they can match from last year, so they're trying to help them into that makes sense. There's things about, is a driver ready to come back yet? If he has been injured, it has to do. There's another one about the regular season finale, that Cup drivers will be allowed but not into the other chase races. Kind of strange, I guess, a little bit. Substance abuse policy was updated. Lug nut penalties. That all that stuff, you can look it up. There's a lot to it, and certainly, let's agree that some change had to be made. NASCAR did do homework on this. They did come to people with logical opinions like Mark Martin, and decided on a system. And now, after they voted on it, or whatever they did, I don't think they vote in NASCAR. Don't they just say, okay, here's what we're doing?
Discuss. They just keep discussing.
Yeah, discuss. Now it's the hard sell. Now you have, okay, we need you guys to get behind us. If we're going to do this, we need you to get. So we've already seen kind of infomercials from Mark Martin. I'm good with this. Chase Elliott, didn't he say, I'm good with it? Of course, he had some other things there. There were some asterisks there. But basically, its drivers are supposed to say how great they think it is, at least if they're going to compare it to the way it has been over the last couple of years. So we'll give it some time and see what we think, and then they'll tweak it again, because NASCAR's all about the tweaking. We'll keep a close eye on that.
It's interesting.
We're very glad you tuned in. Go ahead, Brian.
One thing quick. It's interesting. They went back and looked, and at the 6 races that were held at Phoenix from 2020 to 2025, they took these new points and did a computer thing, and 4 of the 6 races there would have had the same champion under this new format we're going to have now and the old one. I didn't think that would be the case. The only 2 differences were Larson would have won it over Logano in 24, and Byron would have won it over Blaney in 23. The rest of them would have been the same champions. Very interesting.
Fascinating.
It's just how you get there that pisses people off, apparently. We're going to do a little open wheel stuff this week. We have a guy from good old Cheeseland who's going to now be a full-time outlaw competitor joining the North Pole Nightmare. We'll talk to him and have some other good stuff for you right after we come back.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit PMFlandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
Chimney Mechanics installs and services wood, natural gas, propane, pellet stoves, and chimneys. We service all of Wisconsin, the UP, and Northern Illinois. We repair all brands and all models of fireplaces, no matter where you bought it. We do custom chimney caps, liners, chimney fire repairs, water and stonework, water leak repairs, and replacement dampers. We do new construction and insurance work. No job is too big or too small. ChimneyMechanics.com. That's Chimney Mechanics with an X. Check us out on Facebook.
Wow, that was pretty. I impressed myself. I had to go to the bathroom, and I got back, put my earphones on, and here we are. I got a sense of time, don't I? We are joined today by a first-timer on this program for as many years as we've been doing it. It's pretty great to have Scotty Thiel join us. You might think of him as the 2024 IRA champion, but he's going to take on a whole new challenge this year. And first of all, Scotty, welcome to the program. Great to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, this was quite the surprise for me. First of all, let me just disclose, me and Scotty have known each other forever. His dad and my dad were really good friends back in the day. We used to go to races all the time. I think I remember, about when you were born, Scotty. So we've been around a long time, and I've seen you race basically from the start. What's that?
I said, there you go. It's been a long time.
Yes, it has. It's been a long time. And I've been seeing you running sprint cars since you started with your 360s back at Manitowoc. But when I saw the press release that you were going to take on the World of Outlaws, I was very surprised and pleasantly surprised. So I guess talk about how this whole deal came together with Greg Wheeler Motorsports. And that's a team that really never ran the Outlaws before. They were always an IRA team, correct?
Yeah. So obviously, my deal kind of, I sold out after 2024, and then left me kind of with an unknown in 2025, and I was really trying to chase something full-time in 2025. A few sponsorship things didn't align, and got bought out from a few rides, and what have you, and then got teamed up with that deal I was in, and they were just kind of a local deal, and I kind of made them go more regionally and whatnot, and things just didn't work out there, and I was bouncing around just trying to race yet, and then all of a sudden we got through the whole year, and now I'm looking into 2026, like what am I going to do, and started just kind of looking around, talking to some people, and there was a few guys that had reached out to me already about doing stuff, and I'm at the point in my life where I don't want to just race local or race 15, 20 races, and I'm just not content with that. And I've been really pushing to be racing full time, and it's just years were ticking by, and so then anyways, we one day, it was, I don't know, probably mid-October, Greg and I kind of got in contact, and this was kind of shooting around some small talk, and just was like, hey, what do you got going on for next year? And he kind of said, well, I don't know. You know, at that point, he still kind of had a driver, and but they had nothing set in stone. And he's like, you know, you got anything going on? And I said, right now I don't, and you know, I'm looking or whatnot. And so yeah, that was kind of the initial conversation. Just all right, whatever. And I had a few other people that reached out, you know, but like I said, it was just nothing that I was really interested in, and just okay, you know, where does this go? I guess. So then Greg and I talked again, and kind of was like, you know, if I did something, I'd like to run 60, 70 races, and you know, we just bounce around wherever we want. And I said, well, that's fine, but if you're going to run that much, you might as well just see if you can follow a tour, because it's a lot of races, and honestly, that's all them tours get in now with rainouts and everything like that. And you can get a points fund check at the end of the year, and tow money, and don't have to pay for pit passes and what have you. And he's like, well, that's a lot of money. And I said, well, it's a lot of money to run 60, 70 races as well, when you got to pay your way into every place and pay your fuel for everywhere, and you know, you're just racing for race winnings, and that's it. And he's like, I guess I never really thought about it like that. So, you know, how do you think we can make this work? And to make a really, really long story short, he kind of told me what he spent, you know, last year, and I kind of chuckled, because
and Max Guilford was his driver last year, correct? For the people that want to remember that car, that's the car Max Guilford drove?
Yep, correct. And I said, Greg, man, if you spent that much money to go racing around here, like, I don't think we're far off if I can, you know, get some big partners on board, and you know, collectively, I think we could get there. And yeah, one thing led to another, and you know, some serious phone calls, serious meetings happened, and I called him back a couple weeks later, and I said, if you're serious about it, I think I got, you know, some funding behind me, and you know, if you're willing to do what you did there. And he's like, no, I think you know, I think we can do this. So it was kind of like a few weeks of like, okay, are we doing this or not? And my goal was to try to have something figured out by Thanksgiving. And I think a rough draft was kind of in place by then, but nothing was concrete or official. So I had kind of prematurely ordered some cars because I'm like, man, if he wants to do this, like, we're going to be, you know, we're pushing midnight oil here just to be ready for Volusia. So I skipped a little bit, but at that point we kind of had talked about doing the outlaw deal versus the high limit. And yeah, so then finally he's like, you know what, let's do it. Like, you only live once, let's give her a whirl. And so yeah, good thing I ordered cars, because we got them literally the week going into Christmas, and got some other parts in and whatnot, so we had to go get them powder coated. And we had met with him just once prior to that, and we picked up some stuff at his shop. And part of the deal was, he's like, hey, you know, I'll let you build whatever you want, and you can build it out of your place up in Sheboygan, and you know, we run it from there. And that's what sold me, and that sold me even before we started talking about this racing anything full time. I've driven for a few other people in the past, and just driving 6-8 hours one way to get to a guy's shop, it's very obviously time consuming. It's a little bit stressful. I'm a very hands-on driver. It's never really worked out when I've just been a driver and not had, you know, control on everything. So when he proposed that to me, I said, I'm in. Let's make this work. And you know, thankfully we were able to put everything together, and both you know, both in a position where, you know, we never really thought we'd be here, but collectively we made it work. And yeah, we're gonna go run with the World of Outlaws.
We're talking with Scotty Thiel, just recently announced will be a full-timer in the World of Outlaws sprint cars. Scott, why don't you hang on? We're going to sneak away and do a quick break. We'll be back right after these.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at wagnerautomotive.com.
Miller Sales and Service of Random Lake is where to go for a trailer, no matter what you're hauling. Tom and Jerry Miller have been selling trailers from B&B, Trophy, and Bravo for over 50 years. Quality and integrity is what put them on the map on the corner of 57 and K since 1939. Home of the number 89 dirt and asphalt cars of Brad Miller. That's Miller Sales and Service. It's where to go for a trailer, just 20 minutes north of Milwaukee. Call them 920-994-4358.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
Welcome back to LTN. We're lucky enough to have Scotty Thiel joining us, first timer on the program and going to be a full timer in the World of Outlaws this year. It's pretty exciting for all of us.
Yeah, and now, Scott, kind of curious, you said you want to run a national series, and the basic ones are the World Outlaws or the High Limit series. What went into the choice to take the World Outlaws route versus the High Limit route?
Yeah, so there's a few factors that led into it. Obviously, High Limit's got a pretty lucrative business approach, but it's more right now set up where you got to run it for 2 or 3 seasons before you can essentially get any of their new benefits. And they came out with a new package for non-franchise teams, and I was lucky enough to receive a copy of that and spoke to Brad and all them guys about that. And I had, obviously kind of knew where the Outlaws were on a lot of the platinum packages, stuff. Talking with them in the past when I've been trying to do this for the last how many years, but so we had to sit down as a business here and figure out, what makes sense. And Greg kind of, ultimately put me in that wheelhouse of, if this is what you want to do, figure out what makes sense. So breaking it down, I'm very detailed on budgets and, mileage and all that kind of stuff. So laid it all out there, and they kind of pitch it, the High Limit deal, they pitch it as, it's only 60 races, but you're going to do the same amount of races because the way that their schedule is laid out is, I'm not trying to talk down on them, but they literally follow the Outlaws. Like, it's just, when there's a little break in the Outlaw deal, the High Limit's only 200 miles away, and you can go race it, on a midweek deal. So, so you're going to run the same amount of races either way. So it's not like you need less equipment to do it. Some guys that have done it say that you can and what have you. But if you have these breaks and you're trying to race for a living, you're going to go race. And so laying out the schedules, for me, I got a family, and I got to be back home as often as I can. I'm fortunate I got, a couple guys that will be able to be on the road and maintain all that stuff, and I got full confidence in them. So High Limit has a lot of midweek races, which is great for the teams that are, just trying to always race, but it's tough for a guy like me to kind of sustain that being on the road quite a bit. And a lot of their overnight races were 4, 5, 6 hours in between, and that's very, very difficult on a team. Especially of our size, we don't have 3 or 4 full-time guys, and we're not in that position yet. So the Outlaw deal makes a little bit more sense. It's a lot of weekend races. They have a few midweek things, and honestly, based out of Wisconsin, it's not so bad. There's over about 52, 54% of the races are within about 8 hours of Sheboygan. So we can come home. And I think that's a big thing, too, for the guys to not be stuck in a toter, stuck in a hotel room or whatever have you. They can get home and, feel like you got a little stability that way. So after breaking it all down and the mileage that was included, the Outlaw deal just looked a lot more lucrative to us. I was being a realist and trying to place ourselves as about a 10th place car. That's the goal. If we can, achieve that, I'm going to be happy. If we can get a spot or two, that's going to be a bonus. And I think we can attain that. So when you break down those expenses to run that many races and be in that position of a car and year-end points, the Outlaw deal was going to pay a good amount of money more, and we were only going to be traveling about 2,000 more miles than the High Limit schedule. But also, you're just on the road a lot with the High Limit, so it's just it just made more sense. And then we're able to utilize Greg's shop as well down in Indiana. So based on how the schedule laid out, we can utilize each other's shops in a timely fashion and just make it make sense for the team. So that was kind of the approach, and we're trying to just get through year one and see where we go here. And the High Limit deal is you kind of, like I said, you need a 3-year plan with the team, and in these days that's kind of difficult to ask for. In order to see that what they're trying to build over there. So I think that the Outlaw deal is, they've been obviously working for a long time the way that they run their series. They all spoke to me, nicely and laid it all out pretty black and white on how this all works. And don't get me wrong, both series has a very difficult group of cars there to race against. So it just, you had to kind of take that out of the picture and just look at what makes sense financially. And for us, it looked like the World of Outlaws was the best approach.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense when you break it down that way. I kind of wondered what goes into choosing what series you run. I guess running, just jumping into something, doing things spur on the moment is kind of your style, isn't it? I mean, you kind of came on the radar for me up here when you guys had a rain out at a track up here. You didn't want to sit around. You decided to just jump in a car, take your car, drive it to Eldora, and run the King's Royal with the World Outlaws, which is one of the most prestigious World Outlaw races. And you made the show, just coming out of nowhere on a last-minute deal. So you've had kind of experience doing things like this before, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, when we were talking kind of off air about this, what I've won before in the past, we never really followed a lot of things for championship sake of things. My dad and I, when we had our team back in the day, we started off running MSA with some 360 stuff, but we really only followed that for about 2 years before we started traveling and just getting out of the state. And I think that helped me build my, portfolio up a little bit as a driver and a crew chief kind of combo that I call myself, and just getting a notebook built up. And We just didn't want to stick around here and just be, a local hero. So I think that helped kind of broaden our horizons a little bit. And then, we came back home and ran the IRA deal for a handful of years. And, but there we were traveling around to a lot of places too. And, but before we did that, we had that ASCS 360 and we traveled around a lot, across the Midwest, Plain States and everything like that. We'd go down to Florida and whatnot. So, when my dad and I decided to be done with our family program and sell that off, I got partnered up, with the 73 deal and, we both had assets and combined into one program, and I kind of led the ship on that. The first year out, the first like 5 races, we went to travel down south and just kind of get gelled up together and see how it worked, and then we were going to go run the IRA deal, and we did for a few races, and just I wanted to keep the momentum going, and we just began to travel again that year. Ran, a bunch of different series and just really expanded that notebook again. And I think that's what, for me personally, got me on the real radar, because we started showing up to, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Iowa, and getting out of our comfort zone. 2022 is the same way. We traveled all over the place. And, yeah, we never, raced anything full-time, on a national scale, but like with this outlaw schedule, I've been to over 85% of the racetracks, and I don't think a lot of people understand that. So for me,
well, man, it's going to be it's going to be a busy, exciting year for you this year. That's for sure. And I think it's pretty exciting that we're going to have another car to root for and to follow along on the Outlaws trail. And on behalf of all of us here at LTN, want to thank you for agreeing to come on with us, give us a little framework of how things go. And if you don't mind, we're going to keep a close eye on you and maybe have you back later in the year.
That'd be great. I appreciate that.
Scotty Thiel will be full-time in the Outlaws this year, and we're going to sneak away for a break. Thanks to Scott, and we'll be back right after these.
Miller Sales and Service of Random Lake is where to go for a trailer, no matter what you're hauling. Tom and Jerry Miller have been selling trailers from B&B, Trophy, and Bravo for over 50 years. Quality and integrity is what put them on the map on the corner of 57 and K since 1939. Home of the number 89 dirt and asphalt cars of Brad Miller. That's Miller Sales and Service. It's where to go for a trailer, just 20 minutes north of Milwaukee. Call them 920-994-4358.
PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
Chimney Mechanics installs and services wood, natural gas, propane, pellet stoves, and chimneys. We service all of Wisconsin, the UP, and Northern Illinois. We repair all brands and all models of fireplaces, no matter where you bought it. We do custom chimney caps, liners, chimney fire repairs, water and stonework, water leak repairs, and replacement dampers. We do new construction and insurance work. No job is too big or too small. ChimneyMechanics.com. That's Chimney Mechanics with an X. Check us out on Facebook.
Welcome back to LTN. There's been some stuff going on this week. First of all, the memorial service was held for that Biffle Group plane crash. If you want to see it, then there were some pretty neat things that were said, and like you might imagine, because Greg Biffle was a hell of a lot more than a race car driver, and all those people that were involved there. It's just terrible. You can look that up. I mean, you could go to YouTube and just put Biffle Memorial in there, and you can see some of the speeches. It was pretty hard for his old buddy Garrett Mitchell. What's his code name?
Cletus
McFarland.
Yeah, it was pretty hard for him to talk. He was having a hard time up there. They were pretty close, but it's worth watching. Really bothered by hearing that his home was burglarized. It actually happened on January 8th, but we didn't hear about it right away. Somebody broke into his house. This sounds kind of suspicious to me. They knew right where to go look for $30,000 in cash. Why was that in the house? If somebody knew that that kind of money was in the house after they were all gone, why was that not taken out? And how come somebody knew exactly where to look? Boy.
Sounds like an inside job for sure, and
does.
it's pretty damn heinous, and it's frustrating for sure. I know Greg probably had some security, as we all know he was pretty good with cameras being set up. So there might be some security footage to be able to look at and to try to nail whoever it was that did that. Pun intended.
Terrible. Nail. I can't imagine, what kind of slime ball would do something like that. It's about as low as it gets. On a brighter note, well, not exactly a bright note for Luke Fenhaus. ThorSport announced their teammates for Ty Majeski this year. Jake Garcia will take over the 98 car, and Cole Butcher will take over the 13 truck. The 13 truck. And not Luke Fenhaus. And when these announcements were made, I texted Luke and I asked him, and he said he's working on a ride elsewhere. That's not good news. I'm sorry. It's just actually pretty crappy that he did well for himself while he was in that truck last year. You have to remember, that was his first time and all that. And where was that? Atlanta? He was running in the top 5, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Of all tracks, I don't know. I thought there was
Talladega, I believe, at the end of the year, right?
Yeah, he was doing pretty well at the super speedways for sure.
Yeah, he didn't have the money to buy the truck, and I guess there was a quite a bit of cash involved with Cole Butcher and Jake Garcia, which answers that question. So it's a kind of a crappy day for Luke, but Cole Butcher, it'd be kind of neat to watch his rising through the ranks. He was another Kowicki program guy from Canada. I remember his speech yet when he got up there, and I was so impressed. He said, I'm not anywhere near. He's from Nova Scotia, the far east coast of Canada. And he says, I just don't get even to see too many of these. I look at pictures and I try to look under the wheel wells to figure out what kind of setups they have in the pictures. Good God. He's come a long way, and I'd like to see him do well. And
him going full-time in trucks, I believe that means he will not be running the Stars Tour, because I don't think he's going to be back in that Donnie Wilson car. So
I doubt it either, because that was what I was waiting to comment on, because the Donnie Wilson program is all Toyota, and now that he's driving a Ford truck, that kind of negates the ability to drive a car that has a different banner on it.
Might be a kind of a low-level thing, but I'm really always glad to see when Ford can snatch a decent driver away from Toyota. It's still developmental. He's still got to keep coming to get his ultimate goal. But, it's good for Ford. I'm glad to see it. In other truck news.
An old friend coming back, eh?
Tony Stewart in a Dodge truck at Daytona. Now, before you say, oh my gosh, I'm so surprised Tony's in a Dodge. Don't be. That's what his whole program is with drag racing. It's Dodges. Dodge makes those Hemi engines just for drag racing. It's not a surprise that they ask for a favor out of him. Hey, Tone, we really need you to, bring a splash to Dodge as we come back into the Truck Series and NASCAR. Oh, okay.
I think it's kind of a tip of the hat too to the Truck Series that Tony would want to come and run there. I think most people would say the Truck Series has been, other than obviously it's been very competitive, and I know that Heim kind of made a lot of people look ridiculous this last season, but there's still been, you never really knew for sure who was going to really win it until the end of the race.
I saw an interview with him this week. He was the Grand Marshal at the Chili Bowl, so I think it was Wednesday during the pre-race show. They had him on there, and they asked him about, why he picked Daytona. And he chuckles and he says, well, I had to have a long conversation with Leah about it, his wife. And I decided to go to Daytona. And Leah goes, "Why would you want to go to Daytona? I heard like over half the field crashes there." He says, "Because it's been so long that I've been in one of these trucks. If we go anywhere but a drafting track, I'm going to be out to lunch." He says, "But I think my skills in drafting are still going to be better than a lot of the kids out there, and it gives me the best chance to be good." I mean, he's like brutally honest, and he had the typical Tony Stewart smirk, and I'm like, boy, that is a brilliant thought, and he's probably right because,
absolutely.
he's dead right on. I mean, Johnny Stoddard tells us that all the time. If he picks a race, he usually goes to Daytona because if he can not crash, he'll be right there, and that was perfect.
Did they announce what number it is? Number 10, possibly?
I think he's 25.
25. It's
Yeah,
the
one of
25
those.
truck. It is the 25.
He says when they go to Daytona, they'll have 4 trucks there, but they're only going to have enough backups for like 2 because the equipment that colleague is putting together, they can't be wrecking a lot of stuff. So he says he's hardly going to practice. He's going to go out there and qualify. So his first drafting laps will be when he races because they can't afford to wreck a truck.
Sounds like his dirt days, right?
Yeah, no kidding. We're going to take a break.
Fine.
We've got lots of racing to talk about that's been happening. And boy, it would really pay if you had flow this week. We'll be right back.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit PMFlandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
And now the LTN Hour presents Dirt on the Dirt with Brian Schmidt.
As Todd mentioned, it was a very busy week of dirt racing. Hard to believe in January it is, but that's how the dirt season goes. We'll start Sunday, Casa Grande, Arizona, the Central Arizona Raceway. Night number 2 for the Wild West Shootout. $10,000 to win for the super late models. Hudson O'Neill grabbed the win. In the USRA Modifieds, it was Tyler Wolf. And in the X Mods, it was Blake Adams, a Wisconsin guy. Monday kicked off the 40th Chili Bowl Nationals in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They take the 404 midgets, divide them into 5 different groupings, and they each race each night with the top 2 in each feature making the event. Monday night's feature winner was Kyle Larson. They did it again on Tuesday night, and Blake Hahn transferred into the main event there. Wednesday at the SageNet Center, qualifying night number 3, Emerson Axum punched his ticket. Thursday night, Christopher Bell. And on Friday night, Logan Seavey. So those were your cars that transferred in along with the second place guys. We'll go back to Wednesday night. They were back at Casa Grande, Arizona for another night of the Wild West Shootout, another $10,000 to win for the super late models. And Ethan Dotson passed Bobby Pierce late in that race to pick up the win. That's not something you see real often, seeing Bobby Pierce get passed. But so far, he's been shut out at Casa Grande. In the USRA Modifieds, Reese Solander was the winner. And in the Max Mods, it was Jake Smith. Friday night at Casa Grande, another night for $10,000 for the super late models. Hudson O'Neill picked up his second win of the week. The USRA Modifieds went to Rodney Sanders, and the X Mods went to Lucas Rodin. Last night, round number 5 at Casa Grande. They'll finish that up tonight. Garrett Alberson won a flag-to-flag race last night to pick up the win in the super late models. USRA Mods went to Jeremy Payne, and the X Mods was Kenny Schrader. And if you get to see his interview, it's a priceless one as always with Kenny Schrader.
I guess he was back as far as 10th and came back and won it.
Yeah, he said for once he didn't work his way back. He worked his way forward because he always talks about how he drives himself all the way from 1st to 10th.
Yes.
Yeah. So, also last night down in Clewiston, Florida, the Hendry County Speedway had the Crate Racing USA $12,000 to win for the 604 Crate Late models, and a guy by the name of Diesel Jones picked up the win in that one. And finally, the biggest race of the weekend and the biggest race of the year for the midgets was in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The 40th Chili Bowl Nationals 55-lap feature last night, and it was a Donnybrook of a race. Emerson Axum grabs the win, his first ever Golden Driller. Second went to Kevin Thomas Jr. And third was Hank Davis. Kyle Larson was leading. I think he led the
started
first
on the pole.
He did, and he got passed by Emerson Axum, and then he had a really weird. A car slowed down, and he tried to avoid him, and he hit the wall, and he ended up flipping himself, breaking his front axle. So Kyle Larson was out of the event. Justin Grant was on his way to get into the front, and he got flipped. It was, for a lot of years, they've had a lot of problems there with the racing. About the last 3-4 years, not real good features. And this year they put a different tire on there. They prepped the track differently. They didn't pack it in with the heavy trucks, and they got 55 laps of really good racing there last night.
If you could see the backstretch, you mean?
Yeah, it got a little dusty in there. Yeah, and it was so cold. It was so cold they couldn't vent. It was only 8 degrees outside there, so they couldn't vent the place like they normally do because, it gets so cold in there. Earlier in the week, it was 70. Think about that. On like Tuesday night, it was 70 degrees there. Last night, it was 8.
Damn.
That makes it tough.
All day racing, I thought they did. Normally, you watch the Soup running, the Alphabet Soup races all during. It starts at 9 o'clock in the morning, and it goes all night. And they were actually fun to watch because they had some guys running through the Soup this year that ran like 8-9 features, which set a record.
Yeah, a new record. Darren Nada was, I think, the record holder, and I had to leave. Did that other guy get another one, or was he out right away?
He tied him.
He tied him. Yeah. So yeah, think about that. You're going 9 rounds in there. They interviewed him once in the middle of it, and he goes, "I have to get out of here and take a leak. I haven't had time because you run that race, they run another one, then you go back out again. So it's like you literally don't get a chance to get out of the car, and you're in there for 2-3 hours sometimes if you're running the Soup, which is a very rare thing to have happen. So overall, I would say great Chili Bowl Nationals. They got that back to where they wanted again as far as the competitive side.
What does it pay to win? Do we know?
I think it was $20,000.
And that's up from where it was because that's why Bell and they didn't show because it wasn't paying enough, right?
And Keith Kuntz Motorsports, who has always been the king of the midgets, had a different lineup this year. Only one of their cars with Ken and McIntosh made the event of the 9 they brought there. So money don't always buy you success. That was proof this weekend.
All right, on to the asphalt side of things. The Chili Willy going on out at Tucson Speedway. On Friday night, super late models in action for a pair of 50-lap features. Jace Hansen was the winner of the first. Cole Raz was the winner of the second. And Weston Marthaler down there ran and finished 4th in that second 50-lapper.
By the way, little asterisk for those of you who know Weston Marthaler. He's that number 100 car. He's from Minnesota. He was driving for Kelly Byers, and they took their money and went to Wimmer with it. I thought the Wimmers were out of the racing business. I didn't realize they still were in. Either way, that's now a Wimmer car and run by the Wimmers, not Kelly Byers anymore. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. He's having a good showing out there, though. Last night, the action continued. The Super Lates had another set of 50-lap features. Cole Raz won the first, and Jace Hansen was second. Weston Marthaler finished 3rd in that one. And then the second 50-lap Super Late was Taylor Mayhew picking up the win there. The Pro Lates also ran last night, and it was a battle between the Harvicks. Kevin Harvick over his son Keelan. That's how they finished 1-2, and it was Harvick University, as Todd said in our group chat. Keelan was getting a little blocky out there, and Kevin was trying to get around him and finally did. And when he did get around him, Keelan ended up getting into the ass end of Kevin and really upsetting the car, and Kevin gathered it back up and showed young Keelan how it's really done, and ended up, he almost wrecked him, honestly, but it's a good lesson for Keelan to learn. It's like, if you're going to play that game, you better be prepared to get it back.
The kid hung on to the car. He did a great job.
He did, so he got a little lesson on that one. But the Chili Willy 150 today, for the super late models. That's part of the Spears Southwest Cars Tour. That'll be at 1:45 Central Time today, and you can watch that on Flow Sports.
Boy, Flow, it was a busy little night with Flow. You can't really previous channel button with the, when you're streaming. We had the Chili Willy at Tucson, the Wild West Shootout in Casa Grande, and the Chili Bowl in Tulsa, all at the same time on Flow. But if you were able to work the buttons decently, you were able to watch all 3 features, or at least most of all 3
Or
features.
just do the Dan Margetta thing and set up 3 different computers with your television and your iPad.
Yeah,
or
as long as you're on
whatever.
the same Wi-Fi router for Flow, it'll let you stream on multiple devices as long as you're off
Really?
the same Wi-Fi router.
Well, we might have to do that today because it's the last day of the Wild West Shootout and the Chili Willy. And, oh, by the way, and at the same time, we're juggling football games too, which was
football.
But
Next
what's that?
week, your Dirt Vision account will get started because the World of Outlaw late models start on Thursday at Volusia for the Sunshine Nationals. So
Beautiful. We got to renew that. Dan, make a note. That's pretty good. We're glad you're tuned in here. We've got another segment to go, and there's a few more things we can touch on when we come back. Hang in there.
Miller Sales and Service of Random Lake is where to go for a trailer, no matter what you're hauling. Tom and Jerry Miller have been selling trailers from B&B, Trophy, and Bravo for over 50 years. Quality and integrity is what put them on the map on the corner of 57 and K since 1939. Home of the number 89 dirt and asphalt cars of Brad Miller. That's Miller Sales and Service. It's where to go for a trailer, just 20 minutes north of Milwaukee. Call them 920-994-4358.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company in the heart of Wisconsin is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at wagnerautomotive.com.
That's good news.
Welcome back. Little chit chat there you were privy to. Couple other notes we have for you. Bobby Dotter's car is going to be driven by Cole Custer 5 times this year in the Nopes series, or Nope series, NOAP. That's NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts. Nope. That's beautiful. Nope as in soap. Bobby tells me that they are going to provide the car and the engine and the driver. Bobby is going to do the rest of the logistics, including the pit crew. And so
this is the second car, right? This is, and then the 07 is going to run with Bilicki the whole schedule. And this is the zero car, I think, this year. It's the second car that he's going to drive here.
Okay, that's beautiful. But it's going to be run out of Bobby's shop, which is pretty cool for everybody involved there. So something to watch. And if you'll remember, Cole Custer won a race in the 07 that Bobby had. What was that, 2 years ago?
Nah, I was at California Speedway, so it had been a while ago.
Jeez.
21 maybe?
Time picks up speed once you get over the hill. WeatherTech, you remember WeatherTech. If you don't, you should have watched your television during the Christmas season because they spent so much money advertising their computerized floor mats that they outspent themselves and they pulled out of NASCAR. All of their sponsorships are supposedly gone by the by. Now, the question that I have would be, what about SVG? With the new points that NASCAR has with SVG, with this no more win and you're in, first of all, he loses his sponsor. Now he could win all those damn road course races and it won't mean much. But Brian, apparently you figured out that he should be okay.
Yeah, they should be. They got some other sponsors on there. They have Kubota is going to be a part of the operation. So Kubota is kind of becoming a bigger face in racing. They're the series sponsor for a high limit series. So kind of cool to see that. Jockey is up in the area as if they're going to be coming back. And then there's a couple other smaller ones.
Bull, right? Trackhouse, this thing's going on with Red Bull too. I don't know how much though.
Yeah, Red Bull's going to be the main one for Connor Zilisch.
I was just kind of surprised with that because the two drivers they had there was Zilich and SVG. Those are two of the more marketable guys coming into the sport that they could have probably put something around. Kind of a big group of drivers to lose, I thought. I mean, Zilich, I think, is going to be great in this sport, and SVG has got a great following, and he's king on the road courses. He's good for wins there.
Moose Fraternity is going to be for 4 races on the number 1 car for Ross Chastain.
Yeah, that's who was on the car when he did the wall thing at Martinsville.
Yeah. So, I mean, they've been around.
You know, when they signed SVG, it was because they knew he was going to be in the playoffs because with 5 or 6 road courses, he was going to win at least one of them. We didn't know everyone, but, you know, it's not a surprise anymore. So without the win and in thing, SVG could win a handful of races, and unless he finishes in the top 16, it won't make a difference, right?
Correct. Yep. And some people ran the numbers from last year, and with the new format you have all these extra points for winning a race, plus the extra points for winning the stages. And if you remember those road course races, SVG was just dominant. I mean, he won the stages, he won the race, so he could get 70 points, and your next closest competitor could be sitting there at 45. So I mean, that's a big difference there. So if he's able to multiply that, I mean, that's what he's going to have to do if he's not going to run worth the crap on the ovals.
But so dominating the road courses might be enough to keep him in the top 16.
I think he only would have made it by like 2 points. It wasn't like it was
it wasn't a lot. No.
No, I mean, it was barely. So he's going to have to do a lot more on the other races to keep that up.
You would think, though, if you're going to progress, which is what we're hoping he does, he should progress this year and become a little better on the ovals. You would hope.
Jeez, he's in a funny position. How long, if he doesn't make the playoffs, how long are they going to stay with the SVG project? He's a very likable guy, and you can't deny his talent. But, you know, with this kid that they just signed, his new teammate, he's in danger of having this kid make him look bad because the kid is every bit as good, if not better already, as he is on ovals. Matter of fact, let's rephrase that. The kid is way better on ovals than SVG is. So, how long will SVG be around if he doesn't make the playoffs?
We'll get to see Connor race next week already because he'll be in the 24 Hours of Daytona next week.
Oh, that's right. What do we know about this Rolex week? It's starting this weekend?
Yeah, it started over the weekend already. They're running what they call the Roar before. So that's where they get all their practice sessions in. They practice at night, they practice during the day, and then some of the feeder series run. Like there's a race at about 12 o'clock, just after noon. That's going to be the Prototype 3 cars, which used to be a part of the regular WeatherTech series, but they're not anymore. They're on their own. So they're just a little bit slower than the regular prototype cars. And then there's what they call GTX, which are the cars that run in the Pilot series. They kind of put them together and they go out there for a 45-minute race. So that's on Peacock if you want to see the warm sights of Daytona today. Watch that on Peacock.
And alive, a busy week, and it's fun. Check your local listings, as they say. And of course, today, as I mentioned, Flo, between a couple of places you can watch out in Arizona. A dirt race and a super late model 150 lapper that pays $20,000 to win. And the only problem is we don't know any of these guys, do we?
Not really. And some of these other
Cole
ones.
Raz, we've seen a lot over the years.
I've heard of him. I've heard of guys. I mean,
he was a Kawicki guy.
Yeah, I mean the Yankees.
Jace Hansen also had a good run at Snowball Derby now, so he's another name that we know.
And the names that you've heard of.
Yeah. These Jace Hansen has shown some talent too, and I didn't realize he was so young. I didn't know very much about him until I finally saw him. So yeah, it's kind of like it's right down the road, and I could have gone down there, but it wasn't like when Steve Apel made the trip. Then it was fun to go down there and watch. But Steve, that was a one-off deal, as it were. So
and for next week's 24 Hours of Daytona, Connor Zilich, he's going to be in the Wheelin' 31 Cadillac. That's one of the top cars in the tour. So
that race, as far as coverage, TV-wise, it's just the start and the finish, right? The first hour and the last hour, you got to have.
Yeah, you need Peacock to see the rest of it.
That's on all 24 hours now, I think, right?
Yep.
That whole thing. Way back in the 1 hour updates, was it the Superstation had it? If you guys remember that, they have like a 10-15 minute update every hour on the hour. I used to set my alarm, get up, watch the update, go back to bed, set my alarm.
Oh my God, that's
You're
crazy.
nuts, Dan.
Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. Glad you're listening. And as we like to remind people, real race cars have doors, even if they do climb in through the windows. Let's Talk NASCAR is produced and directed by Dangerous Dan Margetta. Our engineer is Matt Hangover Losi. And for all of us involved with the program, we love you, we appreciate you, and we'll see you next week, everybody.
This program has come to you live from multiple locations. Any and all comments expressed on this show do not necessarily express the opinions of this station, its employees, or advertisers. Your comments are always welcome at mail@ltnradionetwork.com. Find us at facebook.com/LTN Radio Network. And thank you for your support since 1985. Tune in again next Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time for the LTN Hour on the LTN Radio Network.